Bonjour! Hello, welcome back to Deals with Simon. Today, we're going to discover the 3 different developer categories. So what that means is, we're going to look into 9 developers and we categorize them by 3 different tiers. And the reason why I'm doing that is to give you a general understanding, a general knowledge base, what to expect from each and every single developer that I'm working with, okay? Because these 9 developers, they have one thing in common. They have a solid track record and as well a strong history of actually providing exactly the product what they promised in the marketing materials, which is extremely important, okay? So with that being said, let's hop into the 3 categories. Let's analyze them very briefly as an overview. And afterwards, you will find several videos on my channel Deals with Simon where I'm going to discover all pros and all cons of all those 9 developers in depth to give you even more a better analysis. With that being said, let's hop into category number 1, which is the segment of the governmental and master plan developers. Number 1. EMAR properties. A developer that probably doesn't really need an introduction, and that's already their first USP. Look, their reputation, their brand value is so strong and so powerful that they literally dominate a huge part of the market. What that means is their market share is 40+%. And last year in 2024, I believe they exceeded their overall sales volume of 60 and 70 billion dirhams. That's a massive number. So when you're investing in an EMAR master plan, you're literally guaranteed profit if your timing is right. So what I mean by that is the following. EMAR exceeds the prices from launch to launch, okay? And therefore, the timing, if the timing is correct, if you're like entering in a first, second or third phase of a master plan that goes over years, okay, that builds itself over 8, 10, 15 years, you can do the math on it that even without an increase of the prices of the secondary market, just by EMAR elevating the prices in off plan, you're making your profits already here, okay? So this is extremely important for you to understand when it comes to choosing the right developer and understanding the dynamics behind it. Now, when we look at the map of Dubai, we can directly see a couple of gray communities, and these are all EMAR master developments. So let me explain it to you in a brief way. What we can find directly here is Dubai Hills Estate in the heart piece in the center of Dubai, which is a beautiful green community where I'm living, for example, okay? Everything started originally with Emirates Living, which you can find over here in the year, I believe 2003 it was. Then we find the Dubai Marina, okay? It's an original EMAR master development, for those of you who did not know that. Then we find, obviously, downtown Dubai with the famous Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, and so on. And here we're coming now to the newer communities, which are right now under construction. So basically, we find Dubai Creek Harbor here, where the whole Creek Island is already completed. We find over here Rashid Yachts Marina, okay, a beautiful waterfront development as well, which is under construction right now. And then we have even here 3 developments, which is Raymond Ranches 1, 2, and 3, as well like Reem, which is a part of it, which are established and curated communities as well, other than Raymond Ranches 3, where there are still buildings about to be handed over. And if we shift our attention and focus towards the south, we can find the Al Maktoum International Airport, the upcoming world's largest, the biggest airport on planet Earth, okay? And around this particular Al Maktoum International Airport, we will find 4 more communities from EMAR. We find EMAR South, as well as the Oasis over here, okay? We already made a YouTube video on my channel, which is extremely important for you to watch in order to understand how such a community works and how they basically build it, okay? And then we're going to find 2 more master plans which are about to be launched from EMAR in this year 2025, okay? So basically, the Heights and the Grand are the next 2 big master plans, and I'm going to create separate videos for them as well to understand it, why it's so important to enter in the right timing into those master developments. Number 2, Dubai Holding, a company umbrella consisting of Meraz, Nakheel, Meydan, and Dubai Properties. And I'd like to shift the attention to Meraz and Nakheel in the first place because their impact onto Dubai's overall growth is massive, okay? So if we look at Dubai's coastline, for example, most of the communities which are well established and beautifully created, they are all from Meraz or Nakheel in 80 or 90% of the cases, okay? And as well as a function, Nakheel is literally a land bank. So they are owning huge parcels of land in Dubai, and some of the plots which are sold to private developers, they're directly coming from Nakheel as well, which is just an insider information, just for you to orient how powerful and how huge of an impact Nakheel actually has, okay? Now, let's dive into what they actually have achieved. So Nakheel basically has achieved the most significant and the most impactful development of Dubai, which is by far the Palm Jumeirah. Okay, we're going to discover the Palm Jumeirah, or specifically the comparison to Palm Jumeirah, in a second. But let's look on the other side to Meraz. Meraz is basically responsible for City Walk, Port de la Mer, Jumeirah Bay Island, which is known as Bulgari Island, okay, Blue Waters as well. Then we have under construction right now Nada Shiba Gardens, the Acres, which we're going to look in a second. So these are all beautiful communities, all done by Meraz. So Meraz is a boutique developer, has a very luxury touch as well, but still they're building communities, okay? So they are combining a lot of concepts with itself. And here is just a brochure of the Ecos Estates, okay? A beautiful development where I already created a YouTube video on my channel, which you can watch, which you should watch, obviously, in order to understand this product in a detailed way. And the only thing which I would like to show you here is basically how the community looks like, just to get a feeling, get a taste of this incredible product, okay? This is the community. There's a lot of greenery, as you can see. And I'd just like to show you a couple of renders of their properties. So basically, this is a villa, as you can see it here, type L. There are two different types in the Ecos Estates, and this is how it looks. So, and high quality, okay, and a very unique finishing internally. It's very modern. It's directly connecting with a lot of European clients, which is the majority of my clients, and therefore I love Meraz a lot. Okay, so this is basically how the product of Meraz looks like, and let's head over into Nakheel. Okay, so Nakheel, what we have here is Palm Jebel Ali. Palm Jebel Ali is the product which I would like to show you just for a moment as a comparison to Palm Jumeirah, because Palm Jumeirah, as we know, was such a successful master development into the water. It's technically seen a peninsula because it's directly connected to the mainland, okay? And when we look into Palm Jebel Ali, I'm going to create a separate video on my channel because it would take hours until I have literally given you all the details about this product, but I tried to summarize everything in a separate YouTube video on my channel, okay? Where we're diving into Palm Jebel Ali, which is the palm which is double the size compared to Palm Jumeirah. So you can already imagine the size of this mega development. This is basically it for Meraz and Nakheel specifically from Dubai Holding. Super important to understand it. And number 3, Expo City Dubai. Another important element in the overall future plans and future vision of Dubai. So the Expo 2020 was given to Dubai and it was a massive success. 24 million people actually physically visited the particular event. It was a mega event, the first ever in the whole Middle East region. And we have to understand that the overall community, the whole area is completely established. It's completely functional, right? All the cafes, restaurants, everything is there. And Dubai decided to create the center of the south of Dubai over there. So what's going to happen is that Expo is turning into a city within Dubai, if you want so, okay? And for that matter, I've created a separate YouTube video on my channel, Deals with Simon, together with Sarah, who's my partner at the developers offices, and she's going to explain together with me every single detail in a very analytical way about the Expo, whatever you need to know in order to understand this master development. For that matter, we just keep it very basic and we just dive into one or two things here. So basically 24 million people, you can see it here, black on white. Again, the location, super important to understand Expo because everything is shifting towards the south. So this is Palm Jebel Ali, this is the Palm Jumeirah. You can see this is the whole area of Jebel Ali here with the port especially. Here is the Expo master development. It's massive. Here's the airport. And if we look at it from a bird's eye perspective, let's mark this particular part here. You can see that the Expo is quite centrally located if we look into the future, let's say 5 or 10 years ahead, because this is the horizon that we need to have. For that matter, it will be an absolute incredible and super, super important investment opportunity for us to have on our agenda. Let's move on to category number 2, which is my personal favorite of the market. It's the segment of boutique ultra luxury developments. And before we discover these 3 developers, which are perfectly falling into the category, let me explain you what awaits you in this particular part, because ultra luxury means rare, limited, unique in terms of the products which we can explore, in terms of the opportunities which we have in Dubai, and in terms of the unit numbers overall in a single development. So these types of projects, they focus on exclusivity, they focus on prestige, they focus on privacy for the end user, and this is what it's all about. And you can oftentimes see them in a correlation with a top-notch hospitality brand. For example, Jumeirah, for example, Dorchester Collection, Six Senses, Four Seasons, Ritz-Carlton, and those kind of brands. Number 1, Omniat. And I'm super excited to speak about this developer in the first place, because Omniat is one of my absolute favorites. Their unique style, their taste is matching totally with what I like, and more importantly, is matching with the majority of the requirements of my clients, especially the European clients. And therefore, Omniat has established themselves as the absolute go-to developer when it comes to ultra luxury, and they redefines this segment here in Dubai. So what we can find here on the screen is a gentleman. His name is Mr. Mahdi Amjad. He's the executive chairman and founder of Omniat, established in 2005. And let's look at their accomplishments in the first place, because what we can find here is the beautiful Delana Hotel and Residences, the Dorchester Collection, okay? So Dorchester Collection, as we all know, is an absolute incredible, unique hospitality brand. And all of the developments which you can find from now on in Dubai are directly in a correlation with Omnia. So they have an exclusive partnership, Omnia and Dorchester Collection, okay? And oftentimes they bring on partners like Foster & Partner, for example, when it comes to the architecture, or Gilles & Boussier when it comes to the interiors. So they literally redefined this term of ultra luxury, and they absolutely deserve it. Another accomplishment is definitely this particular building, which I would like to show you here. So what we can find here is the one at Palm Jumeirah, the Dorchester Collection, which was the first ever handed-over residential building in correlation with Dorchester Collection. Okay, it was extremely successful, especially when we look at the price history. And next to it, okay, this particular building here, this is Ava at Palm Jumeirah, Dorchester Collection, okay? And this is right now under construction. If I'm not completely mistaken, the handover should happen by the end of 25 or beginning of 26. So we're super excited to see those kind of developments. And right now, they have multiple other developments on the Palm Jumeirah, like the Alba Residences, Dorchester Collection, and so on. So they literally dominate this market, this field. And you can be super excited to explore more and more of those developments, especially on my channel, Deals with Simon, where we already uploaded Vella Dorchester Collection, Vella Viento, and even the Alba, which you can see in front of you, is about to come. So stay excited, and let's dive into the next one. Number 2, H&H, a very boutique, prestigious developer who might not be on your radar directly. And the reason is quite simple, because they don't aggressively market themselves, because they just don't need it. And if you look at who's behind that company, which was founded in 2007, okay, especially in Schmal Holdings, and then you look at what they have accomplished, what they have handed over in correlation with a very famous hospitality brand, then everything should be clear in terms of their quality standards, okay? Now, let's look at the developer in the first place, what they have to offer right now, what they have accomplished so far, and where they're basically positioned in this category of ultra luxury. So what we can see here on the screen, again, Eden Hills, which is a current development by H&H, okay? And let's dive into the developer in the first place. You can see here a list of projects. You can see directly their track records. And this is exactly the brand which I was talking about. The Four Seasons Private Residences in Jumeirah was a very successful development which they have handed over successfully. Okay, number one. Number two, the Four Seasons Hotel and Resort in Jumeirah, as well as in DFC, is a product of them. And right now, the Four Seasons Private Residences in DFC are under construction as well. So there's a lot going on when it comes to the Four Seasons and H&H in a combination and partnership, okay? As well, which I would like to mention this particular brand, which is the Eden House, okay? You can see it here. The Eden House is their own brand, and the Eden House in Al Satwa might be a little bit unfamiliar with you, but if you look at the current rentals there, the studio in the Eden House Al Satwa is renting, I think, for 150,000 dirhams plus per year. So absolutely incredible, successful product. And right now there are more and more Eden House developments under construction, especially on the Dubai Water Canal as well, okay? So this is basically a couple of background information for the developer, and let's dive into their product, the Eden Hills, just to give you like an imagination of their quality standard. So they have a couple of types for the 5-bedroom villas, and there's a 6-bedroom mansion, which is the Luna called, okay, and this is how it looks like. And just look into the interior. This is the standard, this is the quality, and the interior you can expect from a developer like H&H. It totally matches with my personal taste and with the taste of the majority of my clients, and this is the background for H&H. And number 3, Meraz. And I'm aware about it. We already spoke about Meraz and Akil in a combination when we discovered the governmental/master developers. However, Meraz is very unique because they combine the master development feature together with the unique and iconic ultra luxury aspect. And let's dive into what they actually did and how they proved themselves in this category of ultra luxury. Because Jumeirah Bay Islands, the billionaire's island of Dubai, is their master development. And they came up with the Bulgari Lighthouse, okay? And we saw properties ranging of 100, 150, 200 million dirhams. So when it comes to the segment of purely penthouses and ultra luxury, they know exactly what they're doing. And currently, they came up with another incredible development. It's another league, it's a level up basically, okay? And I already made a separate video about this product here on my channel, Deals with Simon, about the Jumeirah Azora Bay. It's a must watch. What an incredible product. The residences there, okay, because the 4 beds are sold out, the 5-bedroom residence, which is the most affordable unit right now, is a starting price of 90 million dirhams, just to give you an imagination of what we're speaking here. Positioned on Chevron Beach, okay, incredible location. That's what Meraz is doing when it comes to ultra luxury. Let's look at a couple of pictures here on their brochure, just to give you like a visual imagination of what you can expect here of this particular product. This is the master plan, for example, okay, and when it comes to the interior, very unique. Okay, a couple of renders, a couple of pictures here, and I hope you can imagine something about that, what they're coming up here, especially the renders of the bedroom here, the bathroom here, super, super luxurious, super boutique, and that's it for Meraz. Excellent. Let's move on to category number 3, which is the segment of high-end quality developers. And this is extremely important that we understand that, because we already discovered and explored the governmental developers / master developers, okay, the big ones which are established for years. We discovered now the ultra luxury segment, and here in the middle we find a very specific segment, which are the developers that focus on quality, that focus on properties in the range of, let's say, 3 to 20 million dirhams on the majority, okay, which are extremely essential when it comes to building investment portfolios, especially for the rental deals later on, okay, because it's a completely different type of property if you're like renting out a mansion compared to renting out a 2 or 3 bedroom in the city center, okay. This is the difference what we have to understand here. Now, another element is that these developers, which I'm going to explain 3 examples again, they choose strategic locations. They choose locations with a lot of growth potential in the first place, okay, but semi-established as well, because these developers, they focus on design, on quality, construction quality, okay, on the finishings, and some of them have even like their own construction internally, and therefore I call them the high-end quality developers, okay? So very important range as well to understand them, and let's dive into each of those developers. Number 1, Ellington. And I gotta admit, I love Ellington properties. The interior design, the construction quality, the amenities, facilities, the lifestyle feeling they're creating for the end user, especially in combination with the supply and demand ratio, because they're selling out all the time when they're launching a product in the same day or in the same week latest. These are all factors why it's an extremely important product to have it on our agenda, especially when I'm putting down investment portfolios with multiple residential units, okay? I tend to look into bulk deals, half floors or even full floors with Ellington, okay? This is just a very important background information that you can imagine who is Ellington. Now, they are known for delivering buildings in a certain community, in a certain area, where there's a price range X, and their prices, okay, of Ellington, they're like 20-25% higher, and still people buy those properties, and the rental demand is insane, okay? It feels like there's a 100% occupancy rate there. Everyone wants to live in a Ellington property, okay? Same with me, and I'm looking forward to the handovers here in Dubai Hills Estate with the Ellington house 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I would love to be in one of those properties, okay? That's just like a very important background of Ellington. Now, what you can see here on the screen is their beautiful building 1 River Point, okay, which is in the heart piece of Business Bay actually, which is a part of the Burj Khalifa district, okay. And what we can find here, just wanted to show you the picture of the design. So we can see this is the lobby, for example, 1 or 2 renders here of the lobby, as well as their facilities, what they put out here. This is, for example, the pool directly next to the canal. Multiple, I think even 3 or 4 floors of amenities and facilities that are put in here. And this is the design, the interior, the quality, which you can expect, okay? This is a background for Ellington, a top-notch developer, which we have to have on our agenda. Number 2, Shoba Realty. Look, Shoba is known in Dubai for exceptional quality. Why? Because they even have their own construction, okay? So basically they control the whole value chain, which is extremely important, and that's why they basically tend to deliver the product 3 to 6 months before the actual handover deadline, which is another big green flag, okay? They have beautiful communities established, like for example Shoba Heartland, okay? And some standalone buildings which are just known for their pure quality, okay? And people love to live in a Shoba building. So they have similarities with Ellington, okay? Although when it comes to supply and demand ratio, they're just a bit different because they have different sizes of the products as well and different ranges, okay? But more on that in our free consultation. Now, let's hop into the documents. What you can directly see is a gentleman here, Mr. PNC Menon, who is the founder of Shoba, okay? He is a visionary. He is someone who wants to build something and leaves a legacy, and that's why I love working with Shoba a lot, because you can feel that even when you step into the sales gallery and the whole products as well. Now, a couple of renders which I would love to show you from their flagship development, which is called Shoba Sea Haven, okay, in Dubai Harbor. Again, there is a separate video on my channel later on where we dive into the whole Dubai Harbor area to understand why the growth is so high of the overall area here in terms of the prices, which basically like skyrocketed in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, okay? But let's look at the interior, let's look at the style, the quality, okay? You can see it's similar to what we saw with Ellington, okay? Although there's a different touch, there's a different signature onto it, but basically these are a couple of renders of the penthouse of the Shoba Sea Haven edition, the Sky edition, okay? And this is basically it for Shoba. So a quality developer, I like to work with them. They have a broad range of products and extremely important to understand them as well. And number 3, Beyond, which is a subsidiary company of the queen of ultra luxury here in Dubai, Omniat. So it's technically Beyond by Omniat. And it's extremely important for you to understand this overall concept. So basically, Beyond is in charge of the overall master plan of Jumeirah Peninsula on Maritime City. Maritime City happens to be one of the last remaining waterfront destinations and waterfront plots directly on Dubai's coastline. I already made separate videos on my channel, Deals with Simon, about the master plan, about products that have been launched so far, especially like Orize and Sensia, about the successes behind, and especially about the numbers which you can expect in the future. Because if you look at coastline of Dubai, about the price rally of, let's say, Blue Waters Islands, from 2,000 all the way up to 5, 6, 7,000 even. This is something which we realistically can expect on Jumeirah Peninsula with the master plan, okay? By now, let's keep it very briefly. Let's just hop into the brochure of Sensia to give you like an estimation and anticipation of what you can expect there. This is the building, which is called Sensia, okay? This was the last launch, and you can see you have prime views directly to the open sea here and here. And again, in the separate video, I'm going to explain the whole master plan, the whole concept behind it. Beautiful, beautiful amenities, facilities. There will be so many features on the overall peninsula which we have not experienced yet, so I'm super excited about it. And this is by far my #1 pick when it comes to waterfront destination, waterfront development here in Dubai at the moment, okay? Prices are still quite affordable. And when we look into the quality standard, this is exactly what I want to emphasize here. Just imagine having like multiple Ellington buildings on one particular waterfront destination. This is basically the whole idea and the whole concept behind it, and this is what you can expect, okay? So this is particularly the penthouse, okay? They're selling it for 50 million dirhams right now, a very unique property as well. It's a duplex, and yeah, this is basically all what you can imagine here. This is Beyond by Omniat, and there are more and more plans behind. Sensational. And this was basically the breakdown of those 3 categories of developers. And the 9 developers which I mentioned in particular, these are the ones that I'm enjoying working with. Why? Because their history, their track records, and their established communities, the products which they have delivered so far, this is exactly what I'm going after, and this is exactly what I expect for my clients as an end result in terms of the product, okay? So in this particular case, if you're not 100% sure yet, if you want to go for a property for yourself as a pure investment, a combination out of it, or something else, then my offer for you is very simple. I'm offering you a private one-on-one consultation together with me. Just click the link below this particular video, fill out the form, give me some upfront information, the more the better, so I can prepare myself properly for this particular meeting. I will take 45 minutes of my time and I will consult you in the most unique way possible, okay, in the best way possible, to give you a ton of value and to make your time absolutely rewarded. With that being said, click the link below, fill out the form. I see you on the other side, and I see you in Dubai.